Nothing in my 10 years as a police officer prepared me for what I found inside my own home. Not the blood, not the screams, not the kind of evil people hide behind wedding rings and promises. But that night, after finishing my shift early and walking through my front door, I saw my husband and his mistress tying up my mother in my living room. And in the next 10 minutes, I gave them a kind of revenge the law could never deliver. A revenge no one saw coming. Not even me. My shift ended early because the suspect we were supposed to transport had already been taken into custody. A rare gift of an unexpectedly quiet night. All I wanted was a shower, a warm dinner, and a few hours of sleep before the next rotation. But when I pulled into my driveway, something felt wrong. My mother's car was parked crookedly in front of the garage. The front door was slightly open, not enough to be obvious, but enough to make my instincts flare. My hand automatically went to my duty belt. Weapon? Secured. Radio? Dead zone inside my house. Backup? Too far. And something in my chest whispered, "Go in quietly." I pushed the door open with slow, deliberate pressure. The living room was dark, except for a lamp knocked over sideways, bulb flickering on and off like a warning. Then I heard it. A muffled cry. My mother's voice. "Please stop, don't." My blood turned to ice. I stepped deeper into the house, gun out, stepped silent and controlled. That's when I saw them. My husband, Mark, and a woman I recognized from his workplace. The woman I always suspected was more than just a co-worker. They weren't kissing. They weren't talking. They weren't even arguing. They were tying my mother's wrists to a dining chair with duct tape. My mother's eyes were red, terrified, streaming tears. Her mouth was taped shut. Her legs were bound. I froze for half a second, the kind of freeze that comes from seeing something so wrong your brain refuses to accept it. Then training kicked in. Hands where I can see them. They both spun around. My husband's eyes widened, but not with guilt, with recognition. Like this was the one scenario he feared most. The mistress gasped and dropped the tape. My mother let out a strangled cry, trying to scream through the gag. I took 3 measured steps forward, weapon trained on both of them. What the hell is going on? Mark lifted his hands slowly. "Honey, listen, this isn't what it looks like." "It looks," I said coldly, "like you and your girlfriend are assaulting my mother." The mistress swallowed hard. She came in unexpectedly. She saw us, and she tried to call you. My mother shook her head violently, eyes screaming the truth. I kept my voice steady. "So you tied her up to stop her from calling me?" Mark stepped forward slightly. "I can explain. Take one more step, and I swear to God." He froze. His mistress raised her trembling hands. "We just needed time to talk to her. She walked in on something. Something like you two screwing in my house." Silence. Neither of them denied it. I shifted my stance, ready to fire if necessary. My mother's chair creaked as she tried to move, panic rising. "Sit still, Mom," I murmured. "I've got you." Mark swallowed, voice trembling for the first time. "Put the gun down. Let's talk." I tilted my head. "Talk? You want to talk?" He nodded. "Yes. Please. Just put the gun away." I smiled slightly. And that's when both of them should have realized they'd made the worst mistake of their lives. Because I don't put my gun down unless I'm sure it's safe. And this room was anything but safe. I spoke softly. "You tie up my mother. You cheat on me in my own house. And you think we're going to talk?" His lips parted. And then something changed in his expression. Not fear. Not remorse. Calculation. My heart dropped. That wasn't the face of a guilty man. That was the face of a man caught too early. He glanced at the mistress. Barely a flicker. But I saw it. And in that millisecond, I knew. They weren't done. They weren't scared. They were planning something. Then my mother's chair tipped slightly. She struggled, trying to warn me. My instinct screamed, "Move. Now." I spun, but not fast enough. Something hit me in the back of the head with brutal force. The world spun. My gun skidded across the floor. I collapsed my knees. My vision blurred. The room tilted. Mark's voice echoed faintly above me. "I told you she'd get home early." The mistress laughed, a cold, sharp sound. "Guess the plan starts now." My mother sobbed through the gag, shaking her head desperately. My breath grew ragged. My fingertips went numb. The last thing I saw before blacking out was a shadow stepping out of my hallway, holding the bloodied object they hit me with. It wasn't random. It wasn't rage. It was planned, coordinated, and I was their next target. The darkness swallowed me whole, and somewhere far away, I heard my husband whisper, "Let's finish this." A high-pitched ringing filled my ears before I opened my eyes. The kind of ringing you get after an explosion or concussion. My skull throbbed. My tongue felt thick. My breathing shallow. The floor beneath me was cold. Concrete. Basement. The dim, flickering light above me buzzed like an old wasp nest. I blinked slowly. My wrists were taped behind my back. My ankles bound. My duty boots missing. My radio gone. My gun gone. My phone gone. They stripped me of the very tools I lived by. But they forgot one thing. They stripped away the officer, not the woman they betrayed. And that woman was far more dangerous. Footsteps echoed overhead. 3 sets. Mark, his mistress, and whoever the third person was, the shadow who hit me. My mother. Where was my mother? Panic stabbed through me. I twisted, trying to sit up. A groan escaped my lips. Involuntary, painful. My vision steadied enough to make out the shelves around me. Old paint cans, holiday boxes, dust. They tied me to a support beam in my own basement. Of course they had. My husband always said, "Nobody ever hears screaming in a basement. Too much insulation." He said it back when we first bought the house. I thought it was a joke. God, how wrong I was. Above me, muffled voices drifted through the floor. I strained to hear. My husband's voice first, sharp, anxious. She wasn't supposed to wake up for hours. Then the mistress, irritated, bratty. "Well, maybe you shouldn't have hit her with a trophy. Who even keeps a marble award in the hallway?" Mark snapped. "I needed something heavy." She scoffed. "You could have just knocked her out with your fists, you idiot. Don't tell me how to do this." A new voice cut in. Deep, steady, chilling. The same man who hit me. The shadow. "We can't argue. We don't have time." Finish restraining the mother. My heart lurched. Mom, where was she? Upstairs? Alive? I started tugging at the duct tape on my wrists, twisting my skin raw, ignoring the burn. Upstairs, my mother screamed through her gag, a sound that shredded something inside me. The mistress groaned. "Why is she so dramatic? She's old. She'll tire out soon." My husband hissed. "Stop talking. Just tie her tighter." Then the shadow spoke again. "Check the officer. She should still be unconscious." I froze. Footsteps. Coming down the stairs. Coming for me. I forced my body limp and dropped my head sideways, breathing evenly. Not too shallow. Not too loud. The trick every officer learns early. Pretend unconscious. By time, the steps grew closer. The basement door creaked open. A figure descended slowly. Heavy boots. Measured steps. No rush. He was confident. Dangerous. Calm. He walked into my field of vision. Tall. Broad. Black gloves. Black hoodie. A bruise on his cheek. The kind you get from someone's desperate elbow when fighting back. My mother's elbow. He crouched in front of me. His breath smelled like mint and cheap whiskey. He nudged my chin. Still out. He stood and whispered to himself. "Good. When she wakes up, she'll be easier to control." He turned, started back toward the stairs. That was his mistake. He assumed too much. He underestimated the wrong cop. I sat up as soon as he turned. Quiet. Slow. The duct tape rubbed my skin raw, but loosened enough to give me movement. The shadow paused at the bottom step. He glanced back once. I went limp again, instantly. He stared. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3. Then, he continued up the stairs. The door shut. I didn't breathe again until his footsteps faded. Then I whispered under my breath. Bad move. Really bad move. I twisted my wrists again. Pain shot my arms. The tape cut deeper. But little by little, it started to peel away. My mother cried out again upstairs. A slap cracked. My blood boiled. I twisted harder. My wrist skin tore. Warm blood slid down my palms. I hissed through my teeth, but kept going. Finally, the tape snapped. My hands flew free. My ankles were next. Footsteps shuffled upstairs. Voices rose. Then, something new. A buzzing. A vibrating. A phone. The mistress answered. What? No. And no, don't come here. We're handling it. Mark. Who was that? The mistress. My brother. You want to help? The shadow growled. This wasn't supposed to involve anyone else. The brother. An extra variable. Good. More chaos for them. More opportunity for me. I ripped the tape off my ankles, wincing as skin peeled. Then I crawled to the metal shelving, searching for anything. A wrench. A screwdriver. A shard of glass. Then I saw it. A broken piece of mirror from an old picture frame. Jagged. Sharp. Deadly enough. I picked it up. My reflection stared back at me. Blood-smeared, hair matted, eyes wild. I didn't look like a cop. I looked like a storm. Upstairs, Mark shouted again. Just get her quiet. We need to move them before. Before what? Before who arrived? Before what plan? I crept toward the basement stairs. Silent. Predator quiet. My mother whimpered. The mistress laughed. The shadow barked orders. And my husband, the man I once trusted with everything, said, she deserves this. After everything she's done to me. A rage so pure it tasted metallic filled my mouth. I tightened my grip on the mirror shard. They thought they were in control. They thought the cop was the victim. They thought they planned for everything. But they forgot one crucial detail. A cornered officer is nothing compared to a cornered daughter. I took my first silent step up the stairs. Heart steady, breath controlled, hands ready. I wasn't going to arrest them. Not yet. Not for this. I was going to do something far more terrifying. I was going to let them think they were still winning. Because the revenge I had planned, the one I crafted in the 10 minutes after waking up, it wouldn't just destroy them. It would make them beg for the law they thought would save them. At the top of the stairs, I pressed my ear to the door. Mark was closest. Perfect. I tightened my grip and whispered to myself, time to start. I turned the doorknob, slowly, silently, and stepped into the war they didn't know they'd already lost. I slipped through the basement door, keeping low, every sense sharpened to a blade. The dining room was dim, lit only by the chandelier above, still swaying from the struggle. My mother sat tied to the chair near the fridge, eyes swollen from crying. Her wrists were taped so tightly her fingers were turning purple. Her face was streaked with tears. The duct tape across her mouth had been ripped off once, probably when she tried to scream, then slapped back on. I scanned the scene quickly. My husband stood at the sink, rinsing blood off his hands. The mistress paced near the living room, muttering into her phone. The shadow figure leaned against the wall, arms crossed, watching both of them like a wolf babysitting rabbits. None of them noticed me. That was their second mistake. The first was waking me up angry. The third was hurting my mother. I raised a shard of broken glass, moving silently behind the kitchen island. I heard the mistress complaining loudly. I didn't sign up for this. I thought we were just going to scare her, not kidnap her. Mark snapped. Do you want money or not? Then shut up and help. Money. So that's what this was about. But not just money. The shadow's voice cut in, calm, low, controlled. We don't have time. The officer's shift ended early. Her partner will wonder where she is. Mark answered shakily. They always assume overtime. Nobody's going to check on her. You're wrong, the shadow said. Cops check on each other more than spouses do. Mark stiffened. He knew that was true. I crept one step closer. Behind the island now. I was 10 feet from him. 8 feet. 6. My mother saw me first. Her eyes widened. Hope. Fear. Desperation. She shook her head violently, trying to warn me. No, I mouthed. It's okay. The shadow straightened suddenly. My breath halted. He sensed something. He turned slightly, scanning the room. I dropped to a crouch instantly. His eyes swept the kitchen. I held still, silent, breath barely moving. The mistress complained again, distracting him. Well, your plan sucks. This is all going wrong. Mark slammed his fist into the counter. My plan. You contacted your brother. Now, we have to hurry. The shadow snapped. Quiet. I thought I heard. Now. I launched upward. Fussed. Silent. Weapon raised. My shard of glass slashed across the shadow's forearm before he could react. He gasped, not in pain, but in surprise, and stumbled back. The mistress screamed. Mark spun eyes wide. Holy, she's awake. The shadow grabbed his arm, checking the bleeding cut. It's shallow, he muttered. She's not holding back. I took a step toward my mother. Mom, I'm here. I'm here, I've got you. The mistress lunged toward me. Wrong move. I caught her by the hair and slammed her head into the side of the fridge. She dropped instantly, stunned. Mark shouted, "Don't hurt her." I laughed, cold and humorless. You tie up my mother, cheat on me, and knock me unconscious. And you're worried about her? I yanked the tape off my mother's mouth, and she inhaled sharply. Honey, run. They're going to kill you. No, I said. They're not. But Mark lifted a knife from the drying rack. Stay away from her. The shadow raised a hand. No knives. Too messy. We need her in one piece. My mother sobbed, "Baby, please, don't do this alone." And that's when I realized the most painful truth. They thought they were hunting me, but they forgot one thing I learned on the force. A controlled mind wins every fight. I stepped backward, deliberately letting them think I was scared. Okay, I whispered. Okay, let's talk. Mark froze. The mistress groaned on the floor. The shadow tilted his head. Talk? Now you want to talk? I nodded, pretending to tremble. You want money? Fine. You want the house? Take it. You want my mother? Let her go. Just don't hurt us. The shadow exchanged a look with Mark. Mark smirked. He thought he was winning. Perfect. I loosened my grip on the shard of glass, pretending to drop it. It hit the floor with a soft clink. Mark laughed. Oh, sweetheart, you should have stayed down. This would have been easier for you. The shadow walked toward me slowly. Measured. Controlled. Dangerous. Hands behind your head, he said. I obeyed. Mark grabbed a roll of duct tape. My mother screamed. And oh, don't touch her. The shadow gestured for Mark to hurry. I waited for the exact second his guard dropped. Then, he reached for my wrists. Now, I drove my knee into his stomach. Hard. The air whooshed out of him. He doubled over, and I snatched the knife from his hand faster than he could blink. Back, I ordered, stepping between him and my mother. He froze. The mistress crawled backward on the floor. The shadow's eyes sharpened. You're more dangerous than I expected. You have no idea, I said. Mark straightened, wiping blood from his lip. Oh, I know exactly how dangerous you are. That's why we planned everything so carefully. I raised the knife. You planned it wrong. The shadow took one step forward. You can't protect both yourself and your mother. My jaw tightened. Watch me. Then the shadow smiled. A slow, chilling smile. I thought you'd say that. He pulled something from his pocket. A phone. My phone. He tapped the screen. A video opened. My stomach dropped. It was a live feed of the outside of my house. Someone stood near the garage, filming, a gun visible at their hip. Another accomplice. And then the shadow said the words that froze my blood. If you don't lower the knife right now, the man outside shoots your father when he arrives. My father. Dad wasn't even supposed to be home tonight, but he must have heard my message from earlier. He must have gotten worried. My lungs seized. My mother gasped. And oh, not your father. Mark grinned. That's right, honey. We thought of everything. My hands trembled. Knife still raised. Heart racing. Mind screaming. The shadow watched me calmly. Well, he asked. Drop it. Outside, on the phone screen, a man lifted his gun toward the driveway. Headlights appeared in the distance. My father's truck. My breath shattered, and the shadow whispered. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7. I stared at the knife. At my mother. At the man about to kill my father. 6, 5, 4. My heart broke. 3. I dropped the knife. 2. The shadow smiled. 1. A gunshot exploded outside. My mother screamed. Mark screamed. The mistress screamed. And I ran for the front door like the world was ending. I prayed the shot wasn't what I feared. I threw the door open and froze. My father lay on the driveway, bleeding, motionless. The gunman stood over him, smiling, and then he turned his weapon toward me. Dad! The scream tore from my chest raw and broken as I stumbled onto the driveway. My father lay on his side, blood pooling beneath him, his breath shallow, eyes barely open. He wasn't dead, but he wasn't far from it. The gunman turned toward me, raising his weapon, expression calm, almost bored. Don't move, he ordered. I froze for half a second, not in fear, but in calculation. He didn't know I had trained for moments exactly like this. He didn't know who raised me. He didn't know he had just shot a police officer's father. He had no idea how dead he already was. I lifted my hand slowly, eyes locked on his. "Okay," I said softly. "I'm not moving." He stepped closer, gun steady. Inside my house, I heard yelling. Mark shouting orders. The mistress crying. The shadow cursing. They didn't expect the gunman to pull the trigger yet. They didn't expect my father to be early. They didn't expect me to walk out alive. But the gunman didn't know something crucial. My entire front yard was my training ground. I knew every inch of it better than he knew his own name. He kept advancing. My father let out a weak cough. I whispered, "Dad, stay with me." The gunman snapped, quiet. I ignored him. My father tried to raise his head. His voice came out like gravel. Don't let them." The gunman kicked him in the ribs. Hard. My father cried out. Something inside me snapped so violently I could feel the crack in my soul. "You shouldn't have done that," I said. He pointed the gun at my face. I should have done a lot worse. I forced a trembling breath, fake fear, the kind that lowers a criminal's guard. "You're not the one in charge, are you?" I whispered. His jaw twitched. "What?" "You're jumpy, nervous, trigger happy. Not a leader, not even smart muscle. Just the errand boy." His eyes narrowed with insult. I said, "Shut up." My father rasped, Don't antagonize." I took a tiny step back. He stepped forward to match it. "Perfect." "Seriously," I continued. "They sent you to kill my father? You must be the bottom of the ladder." His face flushed. I said, "Shut up." He lunged toward me. Exactly what I needed. I ducked sideways. Fast. His grip on the gun wavered. For one single second. That was enough. I grabbed the gutter pipe beside the porch and swung myself low and sideways, knocking his wrist with all the force I had. The gun flew from his hand and skidded across the concrete. He cursed and lunged for it, but I was already on him. I slammed my knee into his ribs, grabbed the back of his neck, and smashed his face against the driveway. Hard. He choked out a shout. I hit him again, and again, and again, until his body went limp beneath me. I stood, chest heaving. My father coughed weakly. "Good girl," he whispered. I grabbed the gun, checked the magazine, and chamber round. I pressed 2 fingers to Dad's neck. Pulse weak but present. "Hang on," I whispered. "I'll get you out of this." But first, I had a house to clear. I stood slowly, facing the front door. Inside, chaos erupted the moment the gunshot rang. "Move her now," the shadow barked. She dead?" The mistress shrieked. "Get the MOM into the back room." Mark shouted. Their voices overlapped, frantic, panicking, terrified. "Good. Let them feel it. Let them know what it's like to lose control." I stood in the doorway, gun raised, posture steady. I announced myself the way the badge trained me to. "Police, drop your weapons and put your hands where I can see them." Silence. For 3 seconds. Then Mark shouted, "She's alive." "How?" The mistress screamed. "She killed him." I saw. The shadow snarled. "Shut up, all of you. Get her mother." We used the mom as leverage. My stomach twisted into fire. I stepped inside. "Touch my mother, and I will bury all of you." The mistress whimpered. Mark shouted, "She's bluffing. She won't shoot." I fired a bullet clean through the wall next to his voice. Sparks flew. The mistress screamed again. Mark shouted, "What the hell?" "I'm not bluffing," I said coldly. I took 3 steps toward the living room. The shadow appeared in the hallway. Gun raised, aimed at me. He was smart, calm, composed, unlike the others. His voice low, controlled. "Drop it." I raised my gun a fraction. "You first." "We both know that won't happen." Behind him, I saw Mark dragging my mother toward the back room, tape still wrapped around her wrists. Her legs kicked wildly, desperately. "Let her go," I shouted. The shadow didn't blink. "You're not in a position to negotiate." "Funny," I said. "Neither are you." He smirked. "You're outnumbered." "I don't care." "You're injured." "I don't care." "You're emotional." "Correct." He adjusted his stance. "And emotional people die first." I smiled without warmth. "You're mistaking emotion for weakness." "And you," he replied, "are mistaking your badge for power." He fired first. I dove behind the couch, bullets shredding fabric inches from my ribs. I returned fire. 2 shots measured. He rolled behind the wall. We were both trained, both deadly, both furious. You can still walk away, he shouted. Too late, I shouted back. The mistress cried, I'm not dying in this house. Mark, Mark, hurry. My mother screamed my name through the gag. I felt like a punch. I had seconds, maybe less. The shadow reloaded. I heard the click, then the deliberate inhale, then the step. I waited. Now, I sprang over the back of the couch and fired twice. One bullet grazed his shoulder. The second hit him in the thigh. He fell to one knee, groaning. I advanced fast, gun steady, ready to finish it. But he raised his weapon again. Not at me, at my mother. Mark held her tight, dragging her toward the back door. The mistress stood behind him, shaking, eyes wild. The shadow shouted, Drop your gun or she dies. And then, from the back door, a fourth voice, one I hadn't heard all night. Cold, sharp, unfamiliar. Actually, the voice said, She dies if you don't drop yours. We all froze. A figure stepped into the living room. Face masked, weapon raised, silhouette dangerous. Mark stuttered, WH2, who are you? My heart hammered. The shadow cursed under his breath. The masked figure tilted their head. I'm the one they forgot to warn you about. Then the masked figure aimed at the shadow and fired. The gunshot echoed through the room like a thunderclap. The shadow jerked sideways, collapsing against the wall. Blood spattered across the hardwood. His weapon dropped from his hand. The mistress screamed. Mark froze mid-step, still gripping my mother. My mother's eyes widened in pure shock. And me? My eyes locked onto the masked stranger silhouetted in the hallway. They lowered their smoking weapon with calm precision. Target neutralized, the stranger said, voice low, distorted by the mask. Then they looked directly at me, or at least the mask turned my way. Move. I blinked, breath caught somewhere between my lungs and throat. Who are you? I demanded, but the stranger didn't answer. Move, they barked again. I sprang into motion instantly, muscle memory overriding confusion. Mark screamed, Wait, don't come any closer or she dies. I swear she. The masked figure fired a bullet at the floor inches from Mark's foot. He shrieked and stumbled backward. The mistress crawled behind the dining table, sobbing uncontrollably. The stranger stepped forward, gun steady. You have 3 seconds, they warned. Mark shook his head violently, dragging my mother tighter. No, stop. Stop. Don't shoot. I'll let her go. Just don't come close. The stranger didn't stop. They didn't even slow down. 3. Mark whimpered. 2. The mistress screamed. He'll kill her. 1. Mark panicked. He shoved my mother forward and bolted toward the back door. My mother toppled onto the carpet, safe for the moment. I sprinted to her. The stranger sprinted after Mark. The mistress shrieked, Mark, wait for me. But he didn't. He fled through the back door like a coward, the same way he lived his life. I found my pocket knife on the floor where they must have dropped it earlier and cut my mother's bindings. Her hands flew free. She ripped the gag off. Oh, baby, are you all right? You're bleeding, I'm fine, I lied, hugging her tight. We're not done yet. A crash rattled the back of the house. Then another. Then shouting. My mother clutched my arms. Who's that person? That masked one. I don't know, I whispered. But I had a suspicion. A terrifying one. The shadow groaned, rolling over, clutching his bullet wound. He wasn't dead. Not yet. I grabbed him by the collar and slammed him back down, knee to his sternum. Who sent you? I snarled. He coughed, blood bubbling at his lips. Why, your husband. I said the one above him. He laughed, a bitter, wet, choking laugh. You'll never beat him. I pressed harder. He winced but kept laughing. You're already too late. My mother trembled beside me. Baby, don't kill him. Please. He kidnapped you, I said coldly. He tried to kill Dad. I know, she whispered. But don't lose yourself. Her voice cut through the fury. Just enough. I lifted the shadow's chin. Where's my father now? He grinned, teeth red, bleeding out. I pressed harder. Hard enough to shut him up. Not enough to kill. For now. But I didn't have time. The masked stranger returned through the back door. Their chest rose and fell heavily, but they weren't hurt. Then they pulled off the mask. My mother gasped. I froze, and my blood ran cold. Because standing there, sweat-streaked, wild-eyed, and holding a smoking gun, with my younger sister, Emily, she swallowed, tears in her eyes. Hi, big sis. My mother sobbed, covering her mouth. What are you doing here? Emily looked at me, hands shaking. You didn't answer your phone. Then Mom didn't. Then Dad didn't come home. I knew something was wrong. I stared at her, my little sister, the quiet one, the one who never raised her voice, never broke rules, never fired a gun in her life. Where did you get a weapon? I whispered. She looked away. I've always had one. That stopped me cold. What? I'm not who you think I am, Emily whispered. Footsteps thundered behind her, Mark scrambling across the yard. My attention snapped back. We'll talk in a minute, I told her. I need to. A scream tore through the backyard. Male. High-pitched. Terrified. Then silence. Dead silence. I raised my gun and rushed toward the open door. Emily followed. My mother begged, be careful. But we were already gone. The backyard lights flickered. Grass flattened where bodies had run. A trail of footprints led toward the shed. I moved forward cautiously, weapon aimed. Mark, I shouted. Come out. No answer. I nudged the shed door open with my foot. A shape lay crumpled inside. I stepped closer and froze. It wasn't Mark. It was the mistress. Dead. Neck broken. Eyes wide. Emily whispered, Oh my God. A chill slid down my spine. Mark did this, I said quietly. He's panicking. He's trying to cover his tracks. Emily looked around frantically. So where is he now? A rustle. To the left. I spun. Gun raised. But it wasn't Mark who stepped out of the shadows. It was my neighbor, Mr. Hartley. 72 years old. Walks with a cane. Lives alone. His eyes were wide with fear. I heard screaming, he stammered. I came to help. And then I saw. Oh, dear God. I lowered my gun slightly. It's okay, Mr. Hartley. Please go back inside. Lock your doors. But then his expression changed. His eyes narrowed. His posture straightened. He stepped closer. Too smoothly. Too quietly. Too surely. And then he said a sentence that made my blood freeze. You shouldn't have fought back. My heart plummeted. Mr. Hartley? He smiled a twisted, knowing smile. You have no idea how long we've waited for tonight. Emily grabbed my arm, shaking. Get back, she whispered. But it was too late. Mr. Hartley, the harmless old man, the one who baked cookies for kids on Halloween, reached into his jacket and pulled out a gun. I'm afraid you can't leave, he said softly. Not when you're the last loose end. For a split second, I stared at Mr. Hartley in disbelief. The sweet widower who always offered us tomatoes from his garden. The man who cried at his wife's funeral. The man who never missed a neighborhood barbecue. But the man standing in front of me wasn't a fragile septuagenarian. His grip on the gun was firm. His stance balanced. His voice steady and predatory. Not a trembling old neighbor. A trained operative hiding in plain sight. Drop your weapon, he said calmly. I didn't move. Emily screamed. He's with him. Mr. Hartley's eyes flicked to her. Oh, the little sister showed up. He chuckled softly. I didn't plan for you. But this works. Drop your gun, he said again. I tightened my grip. Or what? I spat. He raised an eyebrow. You really want to find out? Behind him, the yard was quiet. Too quiet. Mark was hiding somewhere, watching this unravel. Probably listening, planning, waiting for the moment I was distracted. I couldn't give in that moment. Mr. Hartley took a slow, deliberate step closer. You've caused a lot of trouble tonight, officer. I recognized the tone. Professional. Cold. Formal. Not Hartley. Someone else. Someone deeper. Who are you? I demanded. He smiled. Your father didn't tell you everything, did he? A chill crept up my spine. What do you know about my father? Oh, sweetheart, he said softly. He's the reason we're here. Emily clutched my arm. What the hell is happening? Why, Dad? Why? Mr. Hartley shrugged lightly. He kept something important, something we need. Emily shook her head. That doesn't make any sense. Dad is just. This isn't about who he is, Hartley interrupted. It's about what he stole. My blood ran cold. What did he steal? He smirked. When we're finished here, you won't be alive long enough to care. Emily gasped. I aimed my gun straight at his face. You're not killing either of us. Then shoot, he said softly. Go on. I hesitated. Just a moment. But a moment was all he needed to lift his weapon faster than any old man should have been able to. Emily screamed, and gunfire lit up the night. But no bullet hit me, because a body slammed into me from behind, knocking me to the ground. I rolled, disoriented, gun still in my hand. Emily shrieked, Dad. My heart thundered as I looked up. My father, bleeding, weak, barely standing minutes ago, had tackled me out of the line of fire. He collapsed on top of me, gripping my jacket. Dad, oh God, Dad. Stay down, he rasped. Mr. Hartley lowered his aim. Well, he said with a mocking sigh. Look who crawled back from the driveway. My father glared at him with bloodshot eyes. Leave my daughters alone. Hartley scoffed. This isn't about them. This is about you. Emily's hands trembled violently around her gun. Stay away from him. Hartley chuckled. You don't even know who he is. What he's done. My father tried to push himself up, but collapsed again. Girls, he gasped. Don't listen to him. I crawled out from under him and stood, gun raised. You're done, Hartley. No, he said softly. Tonight is only beginning. Then he whistled, a sharp, piercing whistle. For figures emerged from the shadows of my backyard. All armed, all masked, all fast. Emily screamed and raised her gun. But gunfire erupted before she could aim. My father threw himself in front of us again, taking another bullet in the shoulder. I screamed, Dad. He fell against me, blood pouring down his arm. Emily cried out, dropping beside him. Dad, wake up. The masked gunman advanced. I fired my weapon, not at them, but at the motion sensor floodlight. The burst of white blinded them for half a second. Emily, move. I shouted. We dragged our father toward the shed as bullets tore across the yard, splintering wood, shattering flower pots, ripping chunks out of the fence. Emily shoved open the shed door. Inside? Hurry. I pulled Dad in and barricaded the door with a lawnmower. Bullets hammered against the metal siding. Emily sobbed, pressing a towel against Dad's wound. Stay with us. Please stay with us. My father coughed blood. His voice cracked. Listen, both of you, listen to me. I knelt beside him, tears burning trails down my cheeks. Dad, please, save it. We're getting you out. We're calling backup. No, he whispered, grabbing my wrist. You need to hear this now. Emily leaned close, shaking uncontrollably. The gunfire outside paused. Footsteps approached the shed. They were surrounding us. My father's voice weakened. They're not here for you. They're here for what I hid. I swallowed. What did you hide? He coughed again and whispered the words that shattered everything. The officer they murdered 10 years ago. You remember that case? My breath caught. Yes. The evidence that vanished, he rasped. The files, the recordings, the only proof of who was behind it. I stared at him, unable to breathe. I stole it, he whispered. I hid it where no one would ever find it. Emily's voice cracked. Dad, why? To protect you both. But why us? I demanded. He shuddered. Because the man who ordered that killing was your husband's father. My heart stopped. Emily's hand flew to her mouth. Outside, Hartley's voice echoed. Open the door, officer. Hand over the files, or your father dies tonight. My father grabbed my wrist. Don't give them anything. The metal shed door bulged inward as someone kicked it. I raised my gun. Emily raised hers. My father whispered one last sentence before losing consciousness. The evidence is hidden in your wedding ring. My blood froze. What? Emily screamed. They're coming in. The shed door burst open, gunmen rushing in, and I lifted my hand, staring at the ring on my finger. The one Mark gave me. The one I never took off. The one Hartley and his men had been hunting all night. The one containing evidence that could destroy them all. And one thought blasted through my mind as the first man crossed the threshold. My husband never wanted a wife. He wanted a vault. The shed door flew open with a violent crash. Splinters exploded across the floor as two masked gunmen stormed inside, weapons raised. Emily screamed. I tackled her to the ground. Bullets shredded the air above us, punching holes into the metal walls. Get down, I shouted. My father lay unconscious beside the overturned lawnmower, blood soaking through his shirt. My sister scrambled behind him, shielding his body as best she could. The first gunman rushed toward me. I fired. One shot, straight through his thigh. He screamed, collapsing onto his side, gripping the wound. The second gunman ducked behind the shelving unit, firing blindly at us. Metal clanged. Sparks rained. I dragged Emily further behind the lawnmower. Another bullet ripped through the shed window. Another. Another. They were trying to box us in. Emily pressed her hands against our father's wound. He's losing blood. He's losing so much blood. I know. I whispered, eyes flicking toward the open doorway. But we can't get him out while they're firing. Emily sobbed. They're going to kill us. No, I said. No, they're not. Not today. Another shot slammed into the mower's engine, sending a spray of oil across the floor. The shed smelled like gasoline and death. I looked down at my left hand. My wedding ring glinted faintly in the dark. A simple gold band. Small, elegant, unassuming. Inside it, evidence of a police murder. Evidence that destroyed careers. Evidence that toppled networks. Evidence my father stole and hid to protect us. And the man who gave it to me, my husband, never loved me. He used me. He married me because the safest way to store evidence is to hide it on the body of someone who trusts you. A spouse, a police officer's spouse, someone who would never take off the ring, someone who would fight for him, someone loyal, someone stupid. Rage burned up my spine. He married me as a storage unit, a walking safe, a naive vault with a badge. Emily, I whispered. She wiped her tears. Yes, we're going to get out of this. How? She panicked. They're everywhere. Because I have something they'll kill us for and something they'll die for. My fingers wrapped around the ring. I twisted it slowly. Emily's eyes widened. Oh my God, it's real. Dad wasn't delusional. No, I whispered. He was keeping us alive. The second gunman peeked out again. I fired. He ducked. A voice outside shouted, "Hold your fire." It was Hartley. He stepped into the doorway, gun in hand, calm as ever. You kill them now, and we lose the ring, Hartley warned the others. His eyes met mine. Officer, you got something that belongs to us. I tightened my grip around my ring finger. Emily trembled beside me. Hartley raised an eyebrow. Your husband didn't tell you, did he? Not about his father. Not about the real reason he married you. I didn't answer. Let me explain something, Hartley said casually, stepping inside with the confidence of a man who'd already won. The night that officer was murdered 10 years ago, your father wasn't supposed to be there. He saw something he shouldn't have. He took something he shouldn't have. Emily whispered, the evidence. Hartley nodded. A recording. A confession. Proof of who ordered the hit. Your father hid it. Your husband's father spent the next 10 years looking for it. He stepped closer. But your father was smart. He hid somewhere men don't check. My heart hammered. In a woman's jewelry. My lip curled. You're not taking anything from me. Hartley sighed. It's not up to you. It never was. He raised his gun. Emily clutched my arm. No, don't. Hartley smirked. Don't worry. I don't need your ring finger attached. I fired. The bullet grazed his cheek. Hartley ducked behind a wooden post, laughing softly. Oh, you're good. I see why Mark liked you. I spat on the floor. Mark doesn't like anyone. He just uses people. Hartley didn't deny it. Instead, he snapped his fingers. 3 more gunmen entered the yard. All armed, all masked, all aiming directly at the shed. Emily whispered, we can't fight all of them. No, I said, but we're not supposed to. What? They want me alive, I said. But they don't need you. Emily froze. Hartley raised his gun. Last chance, he said softly. Give me the ring. I slowly lifted my left hand. Hartley stepped forward eagerly, grin forming. And that's when I pulled the ring off my finger and hurled it into the corner of the shed behind a pile of rusted tools. Hartley's mouth fell open. What? Before he could move, the lawnmower behind him burst into flames. Fuel had leaked across the shed floor. A stray bullet must have ignited it, because suddenly fire erupted across the corner of the shed. Get back, the gunman shouted. Flames licked up the walls. Heat seared my skin. Emily screamed. Hartley lunged toward the corner. The ring. Find the ring. His men scrambled through the flames. Bullets hit the wall beside me. I grabbed Emily by the arm. We're running. Now. But Dad, my father groaned, barely conscious. I lifted him with a strength I didn't know I had. Go! The gunman fired wildly as the fire grew, smoke thickening. Hartley screamed, "The ring! Get the damn ring!" But the flames were spreading fast. The shed began to shake. Emily pushed through the broken wall panel. I dragged my father after her. Gunmen shouted behind us. "Stop them! The ring! The ring is burning!" The shed let out a metallic scream. Then, boom! The explosion sent us flying. Smoke and fire shot into the sky. I hit the ground hard, vision blurring, ears ringing. Emily landed beside me, coughing violently. My father lay between us, barely breathing. I tried to push myself up, but a boot slammed onto my back, pinning me to the grass. Hartley, burned, bleeding, furious beyond reason. "You stupid girl," he hissed. "You think you destroyed it? You think it's gone?" He pressed harder, crushing my ribs. Emily screamed, "Get off her!" Hartley didn't move. "The recording isn't destroyed," he whispered in my ear. "It was never I in the ring." My heart stopped. "What?" He laughed. "Your father hid the evidence inside the one thing you never suspected." He leaned down and whispered the final blow. "Your mother." Emily gasped. "My mother. My mother." Who they had inside the house. Hartley smiled. "You're too late." He lifted his gun, pointed it at my head, and fired. A gunshot cracked through the night. My vision flashed white. Emily screamed, and oh, my ears rang. My hands went numb. For a moment, I thought I was dead. Shot point blank. Execution style. Killed before I could even fight back. But then, sound returned. Color returned. Breath returned. And I realized something. Hartley missed. Not because he aimed wrong, but because someone had hit him first. He staggered backward, clutching his shoulder, blood pouring between his fingers. Another shot rang out. This one whizzed past my ear and slammed into the fence. Emily grabbed me by the arm, pulling me upright. "Move!" I stumbled, choking on smoke from the burning shed. Hartley fell to his knees, roaring. "Find them. The evidence is in the mother. Get the mother." 3 gunmen burst through the smoke behind him, all armed, all ready to kill. Emily fired 2 shots behind us as we ran, forcing them to take cover. My father lay motionless at the edge of the yard. I dropped beside him, shaking his face. Dad, stay awake, stay awake." He blinked sluggishly, breath thin and rattling. Emily crouched down, sobbing. "What do we do? We can't carry him and fight. We can't. We don't leave him." I snapped. "We never leave him." Gunfire hit the tree beside us, bark exploding everywhere. Emily screamed. "They're coming from the left." I aimed toward the noise and fired 3 shots. One at a mask, one at a shoulder. One forced the last gunman to duck. But there were more. More shadows. More figures moving through the smoke. Hartley, bleeding from 2 wounds now, stood weakly but still alive. He pressed a hand to his radio. "She's running. The officer, her mother has the evidence. Get into the house." My throat tightened. My mother. Inside. Tied up. Alone. "Oh God," Emily gasped. "They're going for Mom. Not just for her. For what she carried. Evidence powerful enough to bring down a criminal network. Evidence hidden inside her body. Maybe surgically, maybe swallowed. Maybe it didn't matter. They wanted her. And they would kill her to get it." I grabbed Emily's shoulders. "Listen to me." She blinked, tears streaming. "You run," I said. "You get inside that house. You get Mom. You run and you don't look back." Emily shook her head violently. No, I'm not leaving you. You have T.O." I shouted over gunfire. "They want me alive. They want you dead. They want MOM for what she carries. You're the only one fast enough to get to her first." Emily sobbed. "What about Dad?" I swallowed hard. "I'll hold him off. I'll get him out." Gunfire hit the pavement inches from my father's legs. Emily screamed. "Go!" I shouted. "I can't. Go, Emily." She hesitated, torn between terror and loyalty. But then, a gunman emerged from the smoke, weapon raised directly at her. I didn't think. I tackled Emily to the ground as the bullet whizzed over her head. "Run!" I screamed again. Emily scrambled up and ran toward the house, sprinting across the yard with speed I didn't know she had. Hartley saw her and roared, "Get the sister. Do not let her reach the mother." 3 gunmen redirected instantly and sprinted after her. I fired at them, but my magazine clicked empty. Damn it. I grabbed the fallen gunman's pistol from the grass and fired again, forcing 2 to peel off. But one made it through. He chased Emily toward the sliding back door. I screamed, "Emily, behind you!" She spun, raising her weapon. Too slow. He tackled her to the ground. She screamed, fighting wildly, but he pinned her arms. He reached for his knife. "No!" I cried, sprinting forward. But 2 more gunmen cut me off, firing relentlessly. I ducked behind the remains of the shed, dragging my father with me. He groaned weakly. Girls, stop, they'll kill you." "Not if we kill them first," I whispered, but I couldn't reach Emily. Not yet. She was fighting on her own. Her screams tore my chest. Inside the house, I heard something crash. Maybe my mother. Maybe a gunman. Maybe both. Then, Emily shrieked, "Get off me!" She head-butted the gunman, pinning her. He grunted in pain. She kicked him in the stomach. He rolled. She grabbed her drop gun and fired point blank. He collapsed beside her, dead. She scrambled to her feet, breath ragged. "Mom, I'm coming!" she screamed, sprinting into the house. I would have smiled if I didn't see Hartley limping after her, rage twisting his face. I aimed at him. Click. Empty. I cursed under my breath. I dropped behind the burned remains of the shed, protecting my father's body with my own. 2 gunmen closed in on me, flanking from both sides. I tightened my grip on the useless gun. "Come on," I whispered. "Try me." One lifted his weapon. A sudden blast of pressure hit the ground beside me. A flash of light. A deafening boom. A concussion grenade, thrown by someone I didn't see. I covered my father's body and screamed through the shockwave. My ears rang. Dust filled the air. The gunman stumbled back. Hartley shouted from a distance, "Stop! Don't shoot! We need her alive." When the dust settled, a silhouette stood in the middle of the yard. Tall, heavy-built, holding a tactical shotgun. Not a gunman. Not Emily. Not Hartley. Someone new, but familiar. They lowered the weapon. Smoke drifted around them. They looked directly at me and spoke a single name. "Officer Mitchell." My breath caught. I knew that voice, that face, that uniform. It was my police partner. Partner, best friend, brother in arms. The one person I trusted with my life. He stepped forward, jaw clenched. What the hell happened here? I almost collapsed with relief. Until Hartley laughed. A slow, cruel, knowing laugh. "Oh, look who finally arrived." My partner aimed his shotgun at Hartley. "You're under arrest." Hartley smirked. "No, son. You're under orders." I stiffened. "What does that mean?" My partner didn't answer. Hartley continued. "You didn't tell her, did you? About your father. About how you got promoted. About who you really work for." My stomach flipped. "Stop," I whispered. "Don't listen to him." But my partner lowered his shotgun. His hand shook, and the truth slammed into me like another blast wave. My partner wasn't here to save me. He was here to collect me. My voice cracked. "You're with them?" He closed his eyes. "I'm sorry." Hartley grinned. "Finish it." My partner raised the shotgun, aimed it directly at my chest. My breath froze in my chest. My police partner, the man who'd saved my life more times than I could count, was aiming a shotgun directly at my heart. Smoke drifted between us. The shed crackled behind me. My father lay bleeding at my knees. My world shrank to the trembling barrel pointed at me. "Don't do this," I whispered. "Please." His jaw tightened. "I told them I wouldn't hurt you," he said, voice breaking. "I told them we could do this another way. There is no other way." Hartley barked. "She's the key. She has the evidence. Shoot her or step aside so someone else can." My partner's breath shook. The barrel lifted half an inch. He was choosing between me and whatever these men had on him. I swallowed the lump in my throat. "You said you had my back," I whispered. "You said we were family." He closed his eyes. "I meant it." "Then put the gun down." Hartley scoffed loudly. "Oh, don't act surprised. Why do you think we chose him as your partner? Why do you think he was always the first one assigned to your cases?" My stomach twisted. No, no, that's not true. Hartley took a step forward, smiling like a butcher admiring fresh meat. Your husband's father placed him there. To watch you. To monitor you. To make sure you never questioned anything. My partner dropped his gaze to the ground. The guilt on his face told me everything. My voice dropped to a whisper. You worked with them. He nodded once, shame filling his eyes. I was 18, my dad owed them money. They threatened to kill him. They said if I just joined the academy and kept an eye on you, they'd leave him alone. Hartley laughed. And look how well that turned out. My partner's voice cracked. I had no choice. I couldn't lose my father. I felt something inside me rip open. You were supposed to protect people, I said quietly. You were supposed to protect me. I did protect you, he shouted suddenly. You think you stayed alive all these years because you're lucky? I kept them OFFU. Ihre cause. I sabotaged plans. I did everything I could to slow them down. And now you're pointing a gun at me. He winced. I'm trying to save everyone. You can't save anyone unless you choose the right side. Hartley clicked his tongue. Enough of this. He nodded at my partner. Shoot her. My partner's hand shook harder. His voice was barely audible. If I don't, they'll kill my dad. And if you do, I said, you'll kill him, why dad? And me. Hartley smirked behind him. So many fathers today. Tragic. My partner squeezed the trigger. Emily's scream tore through the yard. Stop. She burst out of the back door of the house, mascara streaked, hair wild, blood splattered across her shirt. But not hers. She stumbled into the yard, shaking violently. Stop. Stop. Please. Hartley turned. Well, did you get the mother? Emily's eyes went wide with terror. She's gone. The world stopped. My partner lowered the shotgun half an inch. Hartley's face twisted into confusion. What? Emily sobbed, wrapping her arms around herself. She's gone. They took her through the front door. I tried to stop them. I fought. I swear I fought. She lifted her shaking hands, covered in someone else's blood. Not Mom's. Someone else's. A gunman? A neighbor? It didn't matter. She had fought, but she had failed. Hartley's expression darkened. So the evidence is no longer on the property. His gaze slid to me, which means you just became worthless. Emily screamed. And oh, please. Hartley raised his gun at me this time. My partner stepped forward, blocking his line of fire. And oh, he said firmly. You kill her, the whole deal changes. We still need her alive, too. Hartley pistol whipped him across the face. My partner collapsed to his knees. You follow orders, Hartley snarled. I lunged forward, but a gunman tackled me from the side, slamming me into the dirt. I fought, elbowing him in the jaw, kneeing his ribs. But he was strong. He pinned my arms behind my back. Emily screamed as two more grabbed her. Hartley pointed his gun at my forehead. Your ring is gone. Your mother is gone. The evidence is gone. You failed all three. He pressed the barrel harder against my skull. And now, so are you. Time slowed. The metal burned cold against my skin. I heard Emily sobbing. I heard my partner groaning. I heard my father wheezing behind me. I thought of all the nights I spent helping strangers, arresting criminals, believing the badge meant something. But Hartley leaned closer and whispered, your badge didn't protect you. Your marriage didn't protect you. Your partner didn't protect you. Your family couldn't protect you. He cocked the gun. You should have died 10 years ago. Everything stopped. Then, a gunshot split the air. Hartley's eyes widened. Blood blossomed from the center of his chest. He staggered backward, dropped his gun, and fell face first into the grass. Dead. Everyone froze. I stared. Emily stared. My partner stared, blood dripping from his lip. The gunman pinning me looked up and was immediately shot in the head. His body fell off me limp. Gunfire erupted. Precise. Controlled. Deadly. A shadow moved through the smoke. Fast. Trained. Unmistakable. They shot the second gunman, restraining Emily. Then the third. The fourth. Bodies collapsed one by one. Emily scrambled to my side. Who is that? I knew before I saw the face. I felt in my bones. In the way they walked. In the way they held the weapon. In the way the world seemed to snap into place around them. The figures stepped through the smoke, lowered their pistol, and my breath caught in my throat. Mom, Emily whispered, but it wasn't our mother. It was my husband. Mark stood there, armed to the teeth, panting, eyes blazing. I'm done playing, he said coldly. We're finishing this. For a heartbeat, I could not move. Mark stood in the smoke-filled yard, gun in hand, chest rising and falling like he'd just sprinted through hell. Sweat streaked down his temples. Soot darkened his shirt. His expression was sharp, cold, calculating. Nothing like the man I'd lived with. Nothing like the man who tied up my mother. But also nothing like the coward who ran from a fight. This was the real version. Emily clutched my arm, voice shaking. Itchy's on our side now. Mark stepped closer. No, he said. I'm on my side. He scanned the yard, dead gunman, burning shed, Hartley's body cooling in the grass. Then he locked eyes with me. You destroyed everything tonight, he said quietly. Everything my father built. Everything I was supposed to inherit. I steadied my grip on my weapon. You brought this on yourself. He laughed once, humorless. No, you brought it on yourself the moment you started asking questions. Emily shouted. Where's MOM? What did you do with her? Mark's jaw twitched. They took her. She's not dead. Not yet. Where? I demanded. He shook his head. I'll tell you, but you're going to listen first. I aimed the gun directly at his chest. I'm done listening. He raised his hand slightly. Hartley was right about one thing. Your mother carries the evidence. His eyes flicked to me. But he was wrong about how. I waited. Tension thick in the air. Mark sighed. Your mother didn't swallow anything. She didn't hide anything in her body. He took one slow step forward. She never even knew she had it. My stomach tightened. What do you mean? Mark pointed at my father. He hid it in plain sight. In something she always carried. Something she'd never lose. Emily's voice cracked. Her necklace. Mark nodded. The locket you gave her when you were 12. He switched the photo inside. Replaced it with a microcard. She wore it every day, even today. My breath caught. I pictured it. The gold locket on her chest. Resting against the tape when they tied her up. Swinging when they dragged her. A piece of childhood. Holding a piece of evidence that could topple a criminal empire. Mark continued. They realized it wasn't in the ring when your father told them. So they grabbed her. Emily screamed, voice breaking. Where is she now? Mark took a deep breath. They're taking her to the docks. Warehouse 19. My father's men. They'll remove the evidence violently if they have to. Emily sobbed. No, 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 no. I stepped forward. We're going now. Mark held up a hand. There's more. I don't care. You should. Because then he said something that stopped the night cold. My father never wanted to kill your father 10 years ago. I froze. What? Mark's eyes softened. He wanted to kill you. Emily gasped. Why? She was just a kid. Mark looked at me with haunted regret. You weren't supposed to survive that night. Your father wasn't supposed to intervene. He wasn't even supposed to know. My voice trembled. Why me? Mark swallowed. Because you saw something. You don't remember it. You were too young, but your father was there. And he saw you watching. If you'd lived long enough to talk. My heart dropped. You were a threat, he finished. Emily's hand covered her mouth. Oh my God. But your father saved you. Mark continued quietly. Ruined the whole hit. Stole the evidence. Hid it. Spent 10 years protecting you both. I shook my head. No, you're lying. He said the evidence was in the ring. He said that because he thought they were listening. Mark's tone was suddenly urgent. You need to trust me now. I glared. You tied up my mother. His jaw clenched. I had to stage it. So Hartley would trust me. So they wouldn't suspect I was working both sides. I laughed, broken, bitter. You expect me to believe you're some double agent now. No, he said. I expect you to believe I'm the only one who knows where your mother is. My grip tightened on my gun. He wasn't wrong. Emily's voice was small. What do you want, Mark? His voice softened, almost pleading. A deal. I scoffed. Of course. He held my gaze. You get your mother. I'll walk away alive. Emily shouted. No. You try to kill us. Mark shook his head. No. Hartley tried to kill you. My father wants the evidence. I just want out. He spread his hands. I am done with this life. You should have thought of that, I growled, before you involved mine. His eyes flashed with something, pain, regret, exhaustion. Maybe I should have. But right now, you need me if you want to save your mother. I took a step forward. And what's stopping me from shooting you and going to the docks myself? Mark smirked. You don't know which warehouse it is. I raise my gun, then start talking. He opened his mouth. Bang. A single shot cut him off. Mark's body jerked. He staggered backward, shock spreading across his face. Emily screamed. I spun. My partner stood behind Mark, gun smoking, face blank. He whispered. He was never going to help you. Mark collapsed to the grass, clutching his stomach. Blood poured through his fingers. He choked out. You idiots! You just killed. Your last chance. He fell still. Dead. My partner exhaled. You're welcome. I stared at him. Horrified, furious, betrayed on a level I didn't know existed. You weren't supposed to kill him, I said through gritted teeth. He was going to tell us where she is. He wiped blood from his mouth. I already know where she is. Emily rushed to him. Then why did you shoot him? He looked at her. At me. At the burning shed. At my dying father. And he said, because if he lived, you'd have trusted him. And he would have betrayed you again. I did what had to be done. I raised my gun at him. Tell me where my mother is. He swallowed. I'll take you. No, I said. You tell me now. He hesitated. And then headlights swung across the yard. A black SUV screeched into place. Doors flew open. Men in tactical gear stepped out. But they weren't criminals. They weren't with Hartley. They weren't with Mark's father. They wore FBI vests. Federal agents, one shouted. Drop your weapons. Everyone on the ground. Emily raised her hands, shaking. I froze. My partner raised his shotgun, and the FBI opened fire. Bullets tore through the yard. My partner jerked violently, riddled with rounds. He collapsed beside Mark's body, dead. FBI agents rushed forward. I screamed, don't shoot. We're law enforcement. My mother's been taken. An agent knelt beside me. We know, he said urgently. We traced the operation. We're here to extract you. Then where is my mother? He pointed to the SUV. We intercepted radio traffic. They're transporting her to an off-site medical facility. Where? He lowered his voice. Not the docks. My heart stuttered. Then where? The agent's expression filled with dread. They're taking her somewhere no one survives. My lungs froze. Emily whispered, oh God, no. The agent met my eyes. They're taking her, he said, to the same facility where they planned to kill you 10 years